I'm going to take a look at finding a fraction of a quantity. So we've got a little rule here, which is to divide by the bottom and times by the top. So if you follow that little rule, you should be able to find a fraction of a quantity. It doesn't matter whether you divide by the bottom first or times by the top first, but you need to times the top and divide by the bottom. Just don't be dividing by the top or times by the bottom. So for this first one here, we've got 3/4 of 32. So we're going to work through this example. So following the rule, divide by the bottom, we're going to take our 32 and we're going to divide by the bottom of our fraction, which is 4. And 32 divided by 4 is 8. Now we want to times by the top, the second part of our rule. So take our 8 and we're going to multiply it by the top of our fraction, which is 3. And 3/8 is 24. And this was money, so it would be £24. Now on our second example here, we've got 4/5 of 13. So if we were to follow the rule, divide by the bottom, 13 doesn't actually divide by 5. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is start with the times by the top first of all. So I'm going to do 4 times by 13. Well, 4 times 10 is 40. And 4 3s is 12, so that's 52. Now, 52 doesn't divide by 5 either, but I'm going to write it like this, 52 over 5, because that line in algebra means divide. So 52 divided by 5. And I'm going to ask myself, well, how many times does 5 go into 52? Well, it goes in a total of 10 whole times. So I'm going to write down 10 and 2 left over. So it'll be 2 out of the 5 left over. So 10 and 2/5. Or the other way that we could do this, again, times the top first. So 4 times by 13 is 52. And then we could write it out as a division like this. So 52 is going to be divided by the top. Sorry, divided by the bottom, divided by 5. Don't get your rule mixed up. So 5 into 5 goes once. 5 into 2 doesn't go, so you put down your 0. And then we put on a decimal point and a couple of extra zeros. And we carry over. So it didn't go into the 2, so we carry the 2 over. 5 into 20 goes 4 times. So the answer is 10.4. And this was centimetres, so it's 10.4 centimetres, or 10 and 2/5 of a centimetre. So either of those answers would be acceptable. If it's money, you would need to do it as a decimal, because money values are always given as a decimal. Okay, we're going to take a look at some more. So, if you want, you can go ahead and try these yourself. Pause the video and try all of these yourself. But I'm going to do the top 2, and then you'll be able to use those as examples to help you with the bottom 2. So don't forget, the rule is divide by the bottom times by the top. So for the first one here, I've got 270 grams and we're finding 2/9. So we'll take our 270 grams. We're going to divide by the bottom. Divided by 9. 27 divides by 9 3 times. So 270 divided by 9 would be 30. Now I'm going to times by the top. So 30 times by 2 is equal to 60. And don't forget units, so it's 60 grams. Alright, so for this next one, 3/4 of 50. Well, the first thing you'll notice is 50 doesn't actually divide by 4. So I'm going to times by the top instead first. So 50 times by 3 is 150. And then I'm going to divide that by 4, and I think I'll do the decimal method. So 4 into 150. 4 into 1 does not go. 4 into 15 goes, well, 4 3s is 12. And that leaves you with a 3 left over. 4 into 30 goes 4 7s or 28. So that would be 2 left over. So put my decimal point on, carry my 2 over. 4 into 20 goes 5 times, so it's 37.5. Or as I said, the other way to do that is, instead of dividing by that, if you write 150 over 4, it's the same idea. How many times is 4 go into 150? Well, it's 37 times. And there would be 2 remainder, so 2 over 4, or 37.5, because 2 over 4 simplified would simplify down to a half if you divide both of those by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2, so it is 37.5. So you can pause the video at this point and try the 2 questions at the bottom, and then once you have tried those, unpause the video and I'll work through them with you. Alright, so 3/7 of 77. So we'll start with divide by the bottom, because I know that 77 does divide by 7. So 77 divided by 7 equals 11. And then I'm going to times the top. So 11 times by 3 equals 33. So that would be 33 pounds. Remember to put in your units. Okay, on the next one then, so 67 does not divide by 5. So I'm going to leave that bit to the end. I'm going to times by the top first. So 67 times by 2. 2 60s is 120. 2 7s is 14. So that would be 134. Now I'm going to divide that by 5. Because it's money, I want this to be a decimal. So I'm going to divide it like this. So 134 divided by 5. 5 does not go into 1, so put down your 0, carry over your 1. 5 into 13 goes twice. 5 2s is 10 with 3 left over. 5 into 34, well 5 6s is 30. And there would be a remainder of 4. So put down your decimal point, your 0, and carry over your 4. And then 5 into 40 goes 8 times. So that is going to be 26.8. Now, in money, we need 2 numbers after the decimal point. So we'll write it out again as £26.80. Alright, so I've got an exam question here on the slide for you to try. So this is taken from exam paper and it's worth 3 marks. And it says, again, if you want to pause the video and try this on your own, first of all, that would be a good idea. And then you can check whether you've done it right. So the first one here says, Danny shares 20 bags of sweets with his friends. He gives Mary 3/5 of the sweets. He gives Anne 1/10 of the sweets. He keeps the rest for himself. How many sweets does Danny keep for himself? So we need to work out how many Mary got, how many Anne got, and then we can find out how many Danny got. So we're going to find 3/5 of 20 for Mary. So we're going to take our 20. We're going to divide by the bottom. Divide by 5 is equal to 4. And then we're going to times that by 3, the top. So 4 times 3 is 12. So that's how many Mary has got. Now we're going to work out how many Anne got. Anne got 1/10. So we're going to do 20, divide by the bottom. So divide by 10 is equal to 2. And we don't really need times by the top here, because 2 times by 1 is just going to give you 2. So it doesn't actually change the answer. So that's how many Anne got. So Mary and Anne in total, so they've got 12 plus 2. Mary got 12, Anne got 2. So 12 plus 2 is 14. Danny had 20 sweets to begin with. So 20, subtract the 14 that he gave to Mary and Anne, which means there'd be 6 sweets left for Danny. And put that in your answer line. 6 sweets. Okay, and that's an exam question that you might get on finding a fraction of a quantity.